Hey everyone, happy college football. Welcome to Porcelain Picks. I'm your host, Andrew Fabian. We're entering week 5 action, back to Friday afternoon. One of the biggest college football weekends in recent memory. A lot of big time games, most of which we're going to be going through today because we at Porcelain Picks deliver the locks you need as you scroll atop the porcelain throne. We've been doing that so far this season. We're at a record of 40-37. Joey Mack gets out of his cold streak with a big win last week. I dipped a little bit into a cold streak last week, so it's bounce back week. It was bound to happen sooner or later with a losing week. We're going to get back to the winning record coming up. We'll start with a Friday night game. I've got FSU and Virginia. The first game we're going to go through. Florida State, this line condenses. It keeps creeping down. It's at 6.5 at the time of this recording. I love Florida State in this spot. I think Tommy Castellanos has really proven Florida State to be a contender in college football, especially when we've seen how Alabama's bounced back. They're not just a disgusting team the way they looked against Florida State in that week 1 victory that Florida State had. So I like Florida State in this one. I like Virginia as well. They're a good football team. They've got a nice offense. They're efficient so far this year. They haven't faced a defense quite like Florida State's, though. It's going to be an overpowering. It might be close for the first half, but take FSU to win Friday night. Start your weekend off right. Lock it, flush it. All right. Moving to Saturday, we got noon action. Notre Dame is a 3.5-point favorite at Arkansas. Arkansas, we saw they had a brutal loss to Memphis last week. They gave up a ton of points. They lost by 1 at the end. Memphis with a big comeback. Notre Dame trying to exit some woes themselves. They started out 0-2 on the season, finally got a victory last week. They got to get right. They've got to just really bring it against Arkansas here. Arkansas, they're either going to be up for this game or they're not. Every team, or a lot of teams, I should say, circle Notre Dame as their Super Bowl each week, or each year. But because of that Memphis loss last week, Arkansas kind of trudging down the drain. Who knows what team will show up if they're going to be packing the season in. Player who's not going to be packing it in is Taylon Green. This quarterback for Arkansas is legit. He can get it done on the ground. He can throw the ball. He's a fun player to watch. Arkansas can put up points. Notre Dame's going to put up points in this game as well because Arkansas can't defend. I'm going to take the Irish in this game. I think it's a CJ Carr get-right game. I think Jeremiah Love is going to torch Arkansas. That defense, which is Swiss cheese so far this season. They couldn't hold Memphis. They're certainly not going to hold Notre Dame. Take the Irish, minus 3.5. Lock it, flush it, and I'm also going to go team total for Notre Dame over 34.5. Lock it, flush it. Let's move on. We've got Georgia Tech at Wake Forest. Wake, a 14.5-point dog, hosting the Yellow Jackets. I kind of like Wake in this spot. I think Georgia Tech has had an excellent start to the year. Obviously, that big win against Clemson a couple weeks back. I think this is a good spot for Georgia Tech to kind of slow the pace down. They're going to run it a bit, not with Haynes King. I think they're going to rest him up a little bit and try not to get him injured the way it went last season. Georgia Tech's in a prime spot to be one of the top 3 teams in the ACC this year, along with Miami and Florida State, if they can stay healthy. So I think they're going to escape this game with a victory, but I do think Wake Forest, they've been sneaky good so far this season. I think there's going to be a lot of running of the football in this game. Wake's going to escape with a 10 or 11-point loss against Georgia Tech. So take that 14.5, lock it, and flush it. All right, big noon kickoff. You got USC, a 6.5-point favorite, traveling to the Illinois. The Illini coming off that devastating defeat to Indiana. They got blown out of the building. Luke Altmaier continues to struggle against these teams that can put up a lot of points and trying to play catch-up. It was no different last week. Unfortunately for them, USC is another team that can really throw the ball around. You've got Jaden Mayava and that Makai Lemon connection for USC that's been working out great so far this season. USC's 4-0. I think they're a legit contender in the Big Ten this year. Illinois, I'm not so sure. I thought they were a better team than they showed last week against Indiana. The real tough part here for Illinois is that their top 2 cornerbacks are banged up, and that's where USC can really take advantage on the outside. Again, with Jaden Mayava just slinging it all over the field. The one bright spot for Illinois, or I guess saving grace, is that Sark has been complaining all week about that 11 p.m. kickoff against Michigan State last week, and then having the 11 a.m. local kickoff this week. USC's got to travel to Illinois for this game, so can the Illini catch USC sleeping? I don't think so. Take USC, don't overthink it. Lock it, flush it at 6.5. Let's move on. Cincinnati at Kansas. Sneaky good Big 12 game here. It's going to be a high-scoring affair. Over-under is set for 57.5. I think that's too low. Right off the bat, I'll tell you, take the over, 57.5. The running game on the Cincinnati side is strong against a weak Kansas running defense, so I think they're going to chalk up some yards there and get some points on the board. And then on the Kansas side, Jalen Daniels has been playing great so far this year. I think he's going to be able to throw it around on Cincinnati's defense that does not defend the pass quite well. So I think over 57.5, lock it, flush it. I also like Kansas minus 4.5 in this game. I think they're going to get more stops than Cincinnati. Cincy's going to be able to run, but they're going to be playing from behind in my estimation. Lock both those bets and flush them. Let's move to the 3:30 window. All right, we got Indiana at Iowa. Indiana coming off that big victory against Illinois. Letdown spot maybe, traveling to Kinnick. Iowa, their crowd's going to be into it. Indiana right now traveling in as a 7.5-point favorite. Kurt Signetti has this team rolling. Fernando Mendoza, the new Heisman favorite, with that amazing performance against Illinois. Iowa, you see some signs of offense from them against Rutgers, but who can't score on Rutgers? I just think Indiana's the much better football team, and they're going to come in and handle business against Iowa. Take Indiana, minus 7.5, lock it, flush it. We're going to go Auburn at Texas A&M. Auburn, gutting loss to Oklahoma last week. A&M, 6.5-point favorite at home. I think this A&M team is for real this year. That Notre Dame victory, the way they eked that one out, there was a missed call at the end there, but Marcel Reed just shows that he can deliver in the big games. I think this is another good spot for him against a banged-up Auburn defense that really gave it their all against Oklahoma. I just think Jackson Arnold on this front, I think he's going to be able to run the football, do it with his legs and with his arm, tossing it out to Cam Coleman. But ultimately, I do think the Aggies run away with this one. Take Texas A&M, minus 6.5, lock it and flush it. All right, Ohio State at Washington. A lot of people like Washington at home to pull off an upset here, or at least keep it close. Ohio State is an 8.5-point favorite. They're the number one team in the country. Washington's unranked, so go figure there. A lot of people think Washington should be ranked. They've really should have burst on offense so far with their hot start to this year. This atmosphere is going to be electric. Washington's home field advantage is underrated. It's the number 2 home win streak, right behind Georgia's 33 straight home wins. More on that later. But Washington fans are going to show up. They're going to be dressed in purple. Damon Williams, this quarterback is legit for Washington. He can really run. He's a true runner. He can throw the ball too. I think these guys, they score a ton of points this season. I think they're going to be able to put up some points on the Buckeyes. But ultimately, Julian Sayin has had a great start to this season. They got it done against Texas early on this year. That was a home game. This is a road game. So we'll see how Julian Sayin shows up on the road against a raucous crowd. I think watch out for Carnell Tate in this game. Washington's got a couple good defensive backs. Jeremiah Smith is going to get his, but Carnell Tate, look for him to get some explosive plays in this game. Take the Buckeyes, minus 8.5. Again, don't overthink it. These guys are going to win. A lot of the money's coming in on Ohio State, although this line keeps compounding. A lot of people picking Washington to win as well. So we'll lock that one and flush that one. All right, LSU at Ole Miss. Both of these teams, a little bit of a tough course so far. LSU obviously ranked really highly this year. They're a top 5 team. But that Clemson win, was it really that good? Clemson's 1-3. I think Clemson's terrible. Does that win hold water? It's a conversation for another day on preseason rankings and why there shouldn't be any. LSU, their defense has been great so far this year. Their running game has not been great. I think there's a chance for both to get right and both to stay right here in this game against Ole Miss. Trinidad Chambliss, this guy is a D2 champion. He came in here. He started last week. He's getting the job done. This guy can run and he can pass. I think Ole Miss is really they're playing okay, but they haven't faced a defense quite like LSU so far this season. I think Ole Miss, it's been a little bit of smoke and mirrors with their undefeated record, but in this game I like LSU to win. I'm not sure if I'm going to take the spread or not, but we'll go with the under in this game. I think the running game's got to be committed to by LSU. Ole Miss, they don't have the dudes on defensive line. It's where they struggle. So look for this to be a possess the ball type game. Take the under, 57.5. All right, Joey Mack, Maction Locks of the Week. We got 2 back-to-back. I'll be rifling through right now. He got Get Right last week, so let's go with Joey Mack. He got Akron at Toledo. Toledo, 20.5-point favorite. They're coming off a really horrible defeat at the hands of Western Michigan last week. Joey Mack thinks they're gonna snap back to it, snap back into form here with this matchup against a horrible Akron team. Akron, struggled to score versus talented secondaries. Toledo's got a talented secondary. Look for Toledo to win this game by 24 plus. Lock it up with Joey Mack. URI, Rhode Island, plus 7.5 at Western Michigan. Western Michigan, just talked about them. They beat Toledo, but they do boast one of the worst offenses in all of FBS. URI shows that they can really slow down talented teams. They're 4-0 against FCS opponents, but a lot of people are saying that the line should be swapped here. So URI, plus 7.5. Follow Joey Mack into the green. Lock it and flush it. Tennessee at Mississippi State, so back to the SEC. Mississippi State, 7.5-point home dog against Tennessee. Tennessee with the bounce-back game last week after that gutting loss in overtime to Georgia, a game they could have and should have probably won. Joey Aguilar has been great so far this year. Anytime you push Georgia to the brink, you know you have a good team. Mississippi State, though, I think they're really showing their true colors so far this season. They can run the football. Their offense is really a juggernaut so far this season. They're a much better team than we thought going into the year. We saw them already beat Arizona State at home. I don't think they win this game, but I do think it gets a little bit ugly and maybe high scoring back and forth with a couple defensive scores in this game. Take Mississippi State to cover 7.5. Lock it, flush it. Now on to the two biggest games of the day. What a day it's going to be. We've got Alabama at Georgia, and we've got Oregon at Penn State. My Nittany Lions need a win under the whiteout, but let's see what happens. So Alabama at Georgia. Georgia, a 2.5-point home favorite. The over-under in this game is 53.5. I am going to make Georgia lose it for me. I'm going to pick Georgia minus 2.5. I'm going to trust their 33 straight home wins in this matchup. I think Kirby Smart has this team prepared to face Bama. I think Kalen DeBoer struggles in these road matchups. We saw them lose to FSU earlier this year. We saw them lose to Vandy. They looked like the worst team in both of those losses between this year and last year, respectively. So they've struggled on the road. Georgia's excellent on the road. Not going to overthink it. I think there's going to be points scored in this game. I don't think these defenses are as highly touted as they are or have been in previous years, but there are plenty of weapons on both sides of the football. So look for a higher scoring matchup. Both teams into the 30s. Georgia's going to win this game 38-31. Lock it, flush it with Georgia minus 2.5, and then go over 53.5. It's going to go well over that. Oregon at Penn State. Again, disclaimer, I went to Penn State. So you can put an asterisk next to this. You don't have to follow me. I try to be objective on this. Oregon, 3.5-point dog, traveling into Happy Valley, 7:30 p.m. kickoff. It's a whiteout. It's under the lights. It's what us fans at Penn State have been waiting for quite some time now. Over-under set at 53.5 like the last game. The big question in this is Penn State holding things back. They've looked pretty vanilla, pretty sluggish through the first 3 games of the year, facing horrible competition. Really haven't had to flex much, but can they? Or is that just who they are? I'm a believer that Andy Kotelnicki, their offensive coordinator, is holding some things back. The evidence of that, Drew Aller, he's ran the ball on a design run once so far this season. He did that quite a bit last year, especially against Oregon. Look for that to be a wrinkle that they add into this game. Penn State was able to run the football relentlessly against Oregon in the Big Ten championship last year. Oregon has lost their middle defensive tackles on the defensive side of the football. So can Penn State get the running game going? I think they do. I think Aller gets some yards on the ground, hopefully stays healthy. Can Singleton get back to his form? He's not looked like himself so far this season. And on the Oregon side, let's take a look there. Dan Lanning has this team prepared. They're always going to be trying to slash and trying to put their foot on the gas pedal, whereas James Franklin kind of keeps a little bit of a conservative approach in these big games. Dante Moore with Oregon, he's looked excellent so far this season against poor competition. This is his first big test on a road trip since his freshman year when he was back at UCLA, and he did not look great there. Their fast no-huddle offense. They're going to be looking to get out of the gates quickly against Penn State. They're going to look to quiet this raucous crowd. It's going to be an atmosphere that Oregon has never faced before, and particularly Dante Moore and these new players. In this game, I think it's going to be tight scoring. I think Oregon's going to be able to put up some big plays after maybe a sluggish start. They're going to try to get out to a quick start. Hopefully Penn State can draw some false start. Penn State's crowd can draw some false starts. But I do like the Ducks to keep this one close. I think it's going to be a 30-27 type game either way. I do like Penn State to win, but again, I went there, so you don't have to follow me with that. If that 30-27 holds, though, take Oregon plus 3.5 and take the over 53.5. Lock them both. Flush them both. Enjoy your college football Saturday. Hopefully you don't have any weddings or places to be, because it is going to be electric. We at Porcelain Picks, we are happy to deliver the locks you need as you scroll atop the porcelain throne. Happy college football, everyone.